Hey guys, you know, in Mastery, you've seen us do a lot of deal and no deal. And today, so this is a property that Maurice already owns. And what I wanted him to do was mainly focus on numbers. So you make money with real estate two places. Number one is when you buy it right. And then number two is when you rehab it right. This is Maurice, and this is Robert. So Robert happens to be a contractor. And this time, he is a contractor who happens to be in Mastery. And I wanted Maurice to kind of get Robert to come out and look at the numbers the way he would. If Robert was doing his own property, what should the numbers be? So I want to kind of go through a little bit of what a contractor outside quoted, and then if Robert was doing it for himself, how he would do the property and what his numbers would be. Because what Maurice needs to learn, he's got to go from being an average Joe to being able to look at numbers the way he does it, and with the numbers kind of he lives this whole real estate thing. So having said that, Maurice, let's start with this. So this happens to be Bellwood property, right? You bought this property for how much? Purchase price?
85 plus buying costs, came out to about 90.
Okay, so total is 90, right? We know if you fix this property up in great condition, right? In perfect condition, let's say the flip these guys would do, him and Bernadette would do, you guys can push the price on this for how much?
I haven't checked the comps lately, but last year, if you were to say, it was around 180, so...
180s.
180, 190, let's say.
180 to 190.
Correct.
So there is a possibility of having that 100,000, 90 I'm going to say to the 100K margin that typically we look for. Now the question is this, he's not a contractor, he doesn't do this for a living. So what he's got to do is though try to bridge the gap, right? So whenever you had a couple of the contractors come out and they gave you bids, what are the numbers they're throwing at?
They ran 37 to 38,000 all in.
37 to 38. Now mind you, did that include every single thing, or were there add-ons that you would have to do? They were add-ons, right? So the problem was that when he's looking at the numbers, I'm like, well, they're saying 37, 38, but by the time it's all said and done, it's going to be probably 45, 46, and that gets too expensive. So hence, Robert steps in the picture, right? Yeah. So Robert, to do it the way I wanted it done, which is not finishing the basement, right? Which is redoing basically the house as is where is.
Correct.
You suggested to redo the kitchen and extend the cabinets.
Correct.
A little bit. Why?
Well, I think that the layout of the kitchen is a little quirky. There's a fridge that's placed in front of the windows that doesn't make any sense, and I think if we close up the window, it would just be like a nice straight wall of sink, dishwasher, and a fridge. Would look really nice when you walk in the kitchen.
Okay, got it. So if you were to do it at your cost, for you, forget about Maurice's in the picture, what could you get this house done for?
So my estimate is about, let's say 27, 28.
27, 28.
Correct. If I calculate some oops in or whatever, some surprises behind the walls, maybe $2,000 more, so let's say around 30.
Around 30. So go ahead.
Yeah, let me stop there. I made a mistake there. My quotes were from 37 to 47.
37 to 47.
That's what I got from the contractors.
Okay, got it. Okay, perfect. That makes sense, right? So would you, in this case, your role is, I said to him, like call Robert, right? And have Bernadette do the design kind of for you.
Right.
Have Robert help you with the actual numbers, right? Use the people that he's suggesting.
Right.
So your numbers have to be really good because it's a great property for him to learn hands-on, right? So what would be the numbers that you would lay out for him on this particular property?
So I think he would end up somewhere about 35.
35.
Yeah, let's say 35. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say 35, right? I think 35 is a number that is realistic. Now, based on the conversations you guys had so far, you think you can come close to this?
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad that you brought them in because they told me what I should do and what I shouldn't do.
Okay,
The
got
sort
it.
of things I can save some money though.
And there's nothing to be scared of in this house, right? This is a perfect house to learn because you can't afford to just give it out to a general contractor because you never learn, right? So if we just look at rough numbers, right? Let's just add another 10,000 to other costs that somebody's going to have. So roughly 90 purchase, 45 in other costs. So if we're looking at it, you're in it for about 135. And at this point, I feel confident that if he's selling the house in about sometime around February, March, he should be able to sell the house all day long about 170 to 175. And in fact, if it's in February or March, he may be able to push the price just a little bit, close to 180. Now, is this going to be something where he's going to make 50,000 bucks? No, it's unrealistic, right? But if you made, let's say after everything was said and done, your closing costs, your selling expenses, everything, let's say you only walked away, right, with about 25, 26. Would you be happy with that?
I'd be very happy.
You'd be very happy, right? So if you were doing this, would you be okay with 25, 26?
Oh, I would be very happy. I mean, this project could take probably 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, maybe.
For you?
Yeah, I mean, it's, if you're thinking about it, you invested about $130,000, you ended up with 25 in a month. It's awesome.
Okay, got it. So for him, it's going to take a little bit longer.
Right. I mean,
But-
I'm not calculating the marketing cost,
Sure.
all that stuff, you know, later. I mean, it's gonna probably take 4 months altogether, but the actual work probably about a month.
Okay, so basically we're looking at about 26,000, I'm going to say, is a realistic number. But what we want out of mastery is this. A lot of times what happens is people will, if ideally to me, he should have bought this property for 80, right?
I really should have got it for 65.
Oh, well, I know.
Not anymore.
But anyways, it is what it is, right? Reality is that the numbers are 90. 30, 35, I think, is a realistic number. My number still is going to be 30, is what I'd like to see it happen, but it's okay. But in the end, net bottom line is that it should be as a first property, it should be a nice home run deal. But what I wanted to bring out this point was that a lot of times, whenever you're rehabbing properties, whenever you're doing your flip, number one, it should be a small flip so that things don't go terribly wrong. And the biggest place where you make money is when you are able to do the property at numbers that make sense, at contractor pricing, and not hiring a contractor where you give everything away. So hopefully some of these things make sense. Guys, thank you. Robert, for coming in. Maurice,
Thank you.
congratulations on your first flip, right? So this should be fun.
Yeah.